It's time to come together to get it done so that we can truthfully say in America, no child will be left behind.
The first attempt to create a government-regulated nationwide public school education system was in 1965, when President Lyndon B. Johnson introduced the ESSA, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Initially introduced to be updated every few years, the ESSA did not reform until 2001, when President George W. Bush renamed the legislation the No Child Left Behind Act, hoping to close the achievement gap and holding low-performing schools accountable.
The act came with a massive infusion of new federal spending and federal control, but student achievement has been flat, and states have less flexibility today than before the act was passed, a big investment without much measurable return.
Recognizing a failing system, in 2015, President Obama introduced a new Reform Act, the Every Student Succeeds Act, claiming to fill the gaps that were neglected in the well-intended No Child Left Behind Act. The new reform would be put into full effect in the 2017-2018 school year. So there's a new policy in effect. What's the difference between ESSA and No Child Left Behind? The federal government no longer holds schools accountable. States can set their own accountability and achievement goals. States can now choose their own standard curriculum, whether that be the Common Core or not. The federal government has no influence. Annual testing is still required for grades 3 through 8 and once in high school, but states are no longer limited to using their individual state tests, meaning states can now choose to administer nationally recognized tests along with the ACT and SAT. Federal government will also sponsor 7 states to explore innovative ways of testing. A major change comes with accountability measures. With No Child Left Behind, achievement was solely measured through reading and math test scores. With ESSA, there are now 4 academic factors for accountability, including English language proficiency and graduation rates, along with 1 school quality factor, whether that be kindergarten readiness, access and completion of advanced coursework, college readiness, school climate and safety, or chronic absenteeism. One of the most impactful changes comes with target achievements. No Child Left Behind demanded that all schools perform on a proficient level of state tests, along with improvement goals of adequate yearly progress, AYP for short, the most daunting of the requirements. If AYP was not met, the school faced federal penalties and school staff could lose their jobs altogether. In addition, this legality made it easy for racial minorities and special education students to fall through the cracks of the system. ESSA saw the potential and inefficiencies of No Child Left Behind. ESSA made improvements to set goals without the threat of harsh penalties, giving states more flexibility. Schools that show underperformance will need a plan for improvement and get more federal funding under ESSA. This is all in an effort to close the achievement gap. In letting states decide their own curriculum and standards, ESSA leaves the risk that states can set the achievement bar too low in order to show a higher success rate. There is still the risk of school closures of continually low-performing schools. This lack of supportive process affects no one but those it is put in place to supposedly help, the students. And the students that suffer the most from this policy disadvantage are those students who most depend on the system. Overall, ESSA doesn't offer a solution to the true problem of why schools are failing and why students can't succeed. There is a need for a system that recognizes the equity disparity between well-funded schools and impoverished schools. Only then will public education find its answer.
Poverty insurance. Public education, keeping poor kids poor since 1954.